What are you telling me? There's still a piece of native land with gold that we haven't colonized yet? Well, what are you waiting for?
Well, they have ruled themselves for quite a while and they have their own culture and traditions. It'd be wrong for us to just go in there and take everything we see with us.
That was a great joke! Since when do we care about morals? Now go in there and colonize them!
Welcome to the early 20th century, a time when empires were expanding faster than your waistline after Thanksgiving dinner. And in the midst of it all, we find ourselves in the glorious Ashanti Kingdom, where the drums are beating and the gold is gleaming. Now meet the Ashanti people, with their vibrant culture, rich history, and a kingdom that was the envy of its neighbors. But the British Empire couldn't resist this golden opportunity. They wanted to expand their influence and claim some of that shiny Ashanti gold for themselves.
What? You're telling me they have gold? Why haven't you told me that sooner? That of course changes everything.
The British quickly occupied the kingdom in January of 1896. The British, with their polite manners, then decided it was time to introduce themselves properly. So in 1900, Sir Frederick Hodgson, the British governor, came up with a brilliant idea.
So guys, since we now colonized you, I have yet another brilliant idea. How about you just hand me over your golden stool?
Are you out of your mind? This is a powerful symbol of our sovereignty and ancestral power! So, they want our gold throne. I suppose they're bored with their stuffy chairs back in London.
What else do they want? Let's just hand over our sovereignty while we're at it too! And so, tensions reached a boiling point in the Ashanti Kingdom. The British had stepped on a golden landmine and it was about to explode. The Golden Stool had long symbolized governing power for the Ashanti people and was of holy value to them. The demand for the Golden Stool had stirred up great resistance among the Ashanti population, and leading the charge was none other than Queen Mother Yaa Asantewaa herself, as the traditional ruler of the Ashanti, and she was a force to be reckoned with.
What the hell do the British want from us? Who do they think they are? We will fight back and protect our culture!
Queen Mother Yaa Asantewa's passionate call to arms resonated deeply with the Ashanti people. Men and women from all walks of life, united by a common cause, eagerly prepared to defend their way of life. As tensions escalated, the Ashanti people united under the rallying cry of their resolute Queen Mother. They knew the fight ahead wouldn't be easy, but they were willing to sacrifice everything to protect their land, their heritage, and their golden stool. March of 1900 marked the beginning of a series of encounters that would have the British begging for tea and biscuits instead. The Battle of Fayais erupted with the element of surprise, catching the British off guard like a deer in the headlights. The Ashanti warriors started to launch a ferocious attack, sending the British troops scrambling for cover, marking the beginning of the conflict between the Ashanti Kingdom and the British Empire. The Ashanti warriors, masters of guerrilla warfare, fought with unmatched determination. Their tactics left the British scratching their heads and wondering where their own strategy had gone. After the victory of Fayais, the Ashanti forces marched onward, with Mampong in their sights. They had no intention of giving the British a chance to regroup.
They'll never see us coming.
Yeah, maybe if you would put the flashlight down. With the guerrilla tactics in full swing, the Ashanti warriors encircled the British forces, leaving them scratching their heads and checking their map for the nearest exit. And so, the British had to retreat from Mampong as well, though it was less of a strategic maneuver and more of a desperate scramble for safety. The Ashanti warriors had struck a chord of fear that had echoed through the British ranks. As the British were still drinking their tea in Kumasi, little did they know that the Ashanti warriors were already on their way. They quickly cut off supply lines, launched relentless attacks, and turned the British garrison into sitting ducks.
Oh, they've trapped us in here. Wonderful.
The Ashanti warriors, relentless in their pursuit, tightened their way around Kumasi. The British forces found themselves trapped, their resources dwindling and their hopes of victory fading. Fueled by an unwavering determination, they stood firm among the banks of the Pra River, ready to halt the British advance as they were fiercely trying to push back the Ashanti warriors. The Pra River, a strategic waterway coveted by the British, was the next obstacle in their quest to relieve their besieged forces in Kumasi, the heart of the Ashanti Kingdom. The Ashanti warriors, masters of guerrilla warfare, unleashed their wrath upon the advancing British forces. Ambushes, hit-and-run tactics, and encirclement strategies became their weapon of choice.
Ha ha! You will never get me!
The Ashanti resistance was fierce, with each encounter testing the mettle of both sides. British soldiers faced heavy casualties as they struggled to make headway against the relentless Ashanti defense. The Ashanti warriors fought valiantly, but the sheer numbers and superior weaponry of the British began to tip the scales in their favor. Slowly but surely, they pressed through the Ashanti defensive lines. The unwavering determination of the British, coupled with reinforcements and superior resources, allowed them to persevere through the Ashanti's fierce defense.
Alright guys, I think it's time to go!
Meanwhile in Kumasi, the Ashanti leadership, including Queen Mother Yaa Asantewaa, had made their escape, leaving the city in the hands of the encroaching British forces. With the fall of Kumasi, the Ashanti kingdom slipped from the grasp of the Ashanti warriors. The British had regained control, and the war now drew to a close. As the dust settled after the war, the Ashanti kingdom found itself in the clutches of direct British colonial rule. The consequences were profound, reshaping the very fabric of Ashanti society.
So, how do we really piss them off?
Appoint our own British governors to brutally exploit them?
Absolutely appoint our own British governors to brutally exploit them.
The British, ever fond of their bureaucratic endeavors, restructured the Ashanti governance system. Appointed British chiefs were introduced, serving as tools to enforce compliance with colonial interests.
Now I'm the boss here, everyone.
To be fair, I've never even left my own city in Britain, but I'm sure I can deal with you guys.
Autonomy and political independence became distant memories for the Ashanti people.
That would look good in a British museum.
The war also took a toll on the cultural identity of the Ashanti. Valuable artifacts, once proudly displayed as symbols of their heritage, were looted or lost during the conflict. The Ashanti people mourned the loss of their tangible connections to their past. The Ashanti people faced a difficult choice. Some were coerced into abandoning their traditions, compelled to conform to British customs and institutions. Others, defiant in their spirit, clung to their cultural practices, preserving them secretly. The war became more than a struggle for the Ashanti kingdom. It transformed into a symbol of resistance and resilience, igniting the flame of independence across the continent. In later years, Ghana, the Ashanti's homeland, took the baton and sprinted towards independence, inspired by the spirit of defiance that the War of the Golden Stool embodied. And the fire of liberation spread, igniting the aspirations of countless others yearning for self-determination.
This type of content is pretty time-consuming to produce. If you want to support my channel and help me create more of these videos, please consider subscribing to my Patreon under patreon.com/historywithseb. As a thank you, subscribers receive exclusive behind-the-scenes content, early access to, and a shout-out at the end of every video, and decide what future videos should be about. So thank you for your support.